Action. Hello Steve, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
You were in your 20s during the 80s, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, yeah.
Right, how did you find this experience?
Very exciting as a young man, and doing gigs and having crowds shouting at you.
Was it busy?
Very busy. The odd gig you'd go to where it was one man and his dog, and other times you go there and it was really busy. So it was really nice.
It's great.
Good experience all round, really. Even the quiet gigs are good experience because it teaches you how to keep yourself going and composed.
Nice. So you did begin your musical journey just before the 80s?
1978.
1978, right.
Yes.
And so what actually first got you into playing music?
Well, I always had songs coming in my head, but I had no way of putting them out there.
Right.
So I didn't know how to play a guitar or anything, so I thought I'll learn how to play the guitar and then I can get my songs out there. People can hear the tunes in my head, because when I get a song, I get the whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing comes at once. It's not just a bit of it, I get the whole thing. I wish I had a USB port in my head and then I could plug it in.
Were you self-taught?
Yes. Well, I had a few lessons with a guitarist, and then once I had the basics, I could carry myself along.
Carry yourself on. Did you have any like books or anything to help you?
Only books of basic chords, so I knew I was playing the right chords in the right place, yes.
Were there any struggles when you first started playing?
Stretching the fingers. I used to do stretching exercises, that's the thing.
So you eventually joined a band called Innocent Pulse, which is one that you're still in today, right?
That's correct, yeah.
And how did you first meet the members?
They got in touch with me. I used to be in another band first called Sharks, spelt with an X, and we disbanded, and from out of the blue, Paul, our bass player, rang me up. I didn't even know who he was, and said, I've heard you're not in the band anymore, in Sharks. Would you like to form a new one? And they got me down the studio and we sort of strung along a few songs together and, you know, and found out that we liked each other and we could do something. And that was back in the 80s and been together ever since.
Would you say you're great friends with them now?
Oh yes, I mean 1984, 1985 we got together.
So you play like pop rock kind of songs, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. That was your genre of choice, and why was that?
It's just a natural thing really, because you can only do what's inside you. I mean, I like all sorts of music. I've fairly recently done a couple of songs that have got more of a jazz leaning to them, but generally Paul is very more of a rock oriented man than I am, so we tend to find that we end up being sort of rock pop. I like songs with a hook and a catch to them, so, and I like commercial songs that have got commerciality to them, so that's the way it sort of turned out really.
Just because you find them to be catchier and like more...
Yes, I enjoy singing a song which is catchy.
Fair enough. Was it also because like that was kind of the genre that was mainly prominent in the 80s?
I suppose yes, really. You don't always realise it at the time, but you are influenced by what's going around at the time, yes.
That is true, yeah. Well, Sex Pistols was a very popular band, like nearing the 80s. They kind of were like the first proper punk rock band. With,
yeah. I mean, they actually sort of came around in the mid to late 70s, really.
Yeah.
Sort of bit of an antidote to the rock dinosaurs, as they'd call them, like the Deep Purples of this world and Led Zeppelins. They were like an antidote, yeah.
Were you like a big fan at the time?
What, the Sex Pistols?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I wouldn't say I liked every song they did, but I liked their attitude, I suppose. That was more the thing, and I think that's why people took to them, because they were like a breath of fresh air. People felt that the music industry had a lot of cobwebs in it and they needed blowing out, and the Sex Pistols definitely did that.
Would you say they've slightly influenced you over time?
Elements of their music, yes. I suppose if Johnny Rotten come and met me today, he'd probably say I was too commercial for his liking, but there were odd bits of the stuff they did, you know, and just the essence of that, you know. I suppose really moving on, the Police came along and were like a commercial sort of punk rock, and then as we all know now, Sting is very much a jazz man, you know. But so there's loads of elements thrown in with all the acts really that I suppose I subconsciously picked up on.
Great, yeah. So you still play music to this day with your band in this very studio?
This is where we do our recordings. We don't do live stuff anymore because basically the time it takes to do rehearsing and drive yourself to gigs and things like that, it's too much. We enjoy creating music, and thankfully, you know, with this studio here, we can indulge ourselves in writing songs and still enjoy putting them out there. I wouldn't, my ideal would be nice if a young band came along and used one of our songs, you know, because that's ultimately what I'd like to do now, is be somebody's songwriter. Bit too old and long in the tooth to get out on the road, but if Glastonbury rang me up and said, Steve, pick up that guitar again, I wouldn't say no. And it doesn't have to be the period.
What's kept you going for so long?
Love of music, pure love of music, and on top of that, it's just, it gets you out of this world, you know, when you've had a hard week at work, you know, and you're busy with other things, the sort of the drudge of sometimes real life. It's an escape, and it's nice. It's like some people have painting as a hobby, or you know, sculpturing or something like that. It takes your mind off things, and it's great to still. It keeps your brain active. It's still to sort of have the fun and enjoy thinking, cool, that song I've just created, that was in my brain a month ago, and now it's there and people can hear it, and that was in my head. That's what I still like.
Would you say music is a type of art?
Oh, definitely. Definitely, yes.
Would you say it's something that you're like extremely passionate about?
Yes, I'd say I love it, always will, yeah.
You loved some of your songs. You really enjoyed Love Bullets, is that?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, Love Bullets, yeah, which I wrote a couple of years ago. It's just that I like how the productions come out on that. It's sometimes you record a song and it just all falls into place, and I just like the production of it and the feel of it and the sound of it, and it's just one of my favourite tracks of ours. You know, I quite often put it on and listen to it myself because I just like how it's turned out.
Were there any like lowlights of your career?
I would probably say the lowest was EMI Records telling me they weren't going to sign me after having me in the studio and recording a load of my songs, and I thought, this is it, something's going to happen, and it didn't. They signed another artist who they told me was up and running and ready to go, as it were. He'd designed his own outfits, already got a load of his songs recorded, and they went with him instead, and he ended up having loads of hits.
Should have been you.
Should have been me.
Switch it up a bit. What about the highlights of your career? How are they?
One of the highlights was going into EMI recording studios and recording my songs in there. I didn't realise how prestigious the studio was until a few years later, and say the only clue I had was when I was in there one day. There was a piano in the corner, and I just sat there, had a little twinkle, and the producer told me that the day before Kate Bush and Phil Collins had been in there playing on that piano and recording songs, and I thought, oh wow.
How far would you say your musical journey's come from your first song to your most recent song?
Oh, a long way, because my basic recordings years ago was on a 4-track machine, so you could only record 4 things, or you can bounce the tracks together. But every time you do that on old analog equipment, the sound quality gets worse. So the old recordings of my songs were quite basic, and the songs themselves were quite more basic because you was only thinking ahead to 4 tracks. Now, got this, got BandLab, you've got all the online DAWs where you can now layer songs much better and get better sound, and an idea of adding your head for maybe loads of backing vocals or something. you can do it. You're not restricted now. You think, I can have that and I can do a harmony there. And so I think my songs are more constructed now than they were when I was younger.
Right. So your first ever song was Shame, correct?
Yes, it is, yeah.
What was your most recent song?
The most recent one would be Stay Young is the latest song I've done. That's got a bit of a meaning to it, that song. It's really, you don't know until you have a son or daughter what your hopes are for them, but you want them to enjoy life as well. So that song's about enjoying life when you're young, but also think ahead. You need to have a serious head behind it all. And the actual words "Stay Young," they were spoken by my mum to my son when he was a little boy. She didn't want him to grow older. She liked him as he was, a cute little boy. And she said to him one day, "Oh, don't grow old, stay young, please stay young forever." And that stuck in my mind, and that's where that idea of that song came from.
It's wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you, I've enjoyed it. Thank you, Nathan.